Are you looking to increase your design skills and productivity? From sketching, surfacing, assemblies, and everything in between, our books have you covered. Purchase a paperback or PDF version in our store today.
Hello everyone, and my name is Steve Samuel from Design Visionaries, and today I have a bit of a treat. It's a fish, and it's a fish that swims. Obviously you can see that I made a video of this fish. It has bubbles, and I thought I would go through some of the techniques that I used to create such a fish, and it was a very fun process that I'm going to share with you now. So, everything started with a law curve. The law curve was set as a sinusoid. There it is, a sinusoid. And in order to do it, obviously, for anyone who's been following these videos, you know I'm a big fan of law curves. And what you do is you create an equation that is based on xt, yt, and zt. And you start with a variable t. And you write the correct equations, and nx creates the shape for you. It's always been a very powerful, fantastic thing that NX has. So the law curve has a variable t, and these expressions are based on the evaluation of t as t goes from 0 to 1. It's varied along, and then you put the equations in. As you can see, I've got yt equals an amplitude that I set times the sine of, in parentheses, frame number times 0.5 plus t times n times 360. So what's happening here is I have this variable called frame number, and frame number goes from 0 to 360 degrees, and frame number is controlled by the visualization technique. So I'll get into that a little bit more later. So then I put a sketch on the end of this thing, and I made another sketch which is going to control this shape as it goes along here. And this sketch is used as a graph, if you will, that controls the perimeter of the sweep. So there's the sweep that I made. Here's the little mouth right here, and here's the tail. And what's happening here is the sweep function is marching along this straight line, and it is following this spline here, this one here, not that one. That was my earlier attempt, and I didn't like the shape, so I modified it this way. And so it's pointy on this end than that end, and the swept function, of course, can be found in the surface swept. And when you sweep, you do a fixed orientation with a scaling law of perimeter law with a law type of by law curve, and you select this is the baseline, and you select this is the actual law curve, and that's what forces the shape to change like so. Then I did a curve on surface, and the curve on surface is one little spot. And I made some other polka dots just because I like polka dots. I did a divide face, and then that's what enabled me to now change the color of what's going on in these polka dots. The next thing I was trying to do was to define a point back here on this face that I used to create the tail. So I made a point, and I made a line that comes out of that point, and I made a datum plane. And so in the end, I made the sketch of the tail shape. And then the tail shape was imposed upon a sweep. There's that. So I swept it. I swept the edge of the back of the fish along that line with these curves from the sketch as guide curves, and then I did an extrude. So I extruded a face, and then I did a replace face so that the tail would be just so. Cool. And I did a bunch of other operations. Let's go down a little bit, otherwise we'll never get done. I made another line segment at the front of this thing, and on that line segment I made a datum plane, and I made a little triangular sketch, and I subtracted it to make the fish mouth. Okay, current feature. All right, next up. Oh, there's a really nice technique. It's little known. A lot of people use it, but it's called the section curve right here. Let's make current feature here. Let's just go up, make current feature. So what the section curve does, it's really cool. You specify a curve, or you specify two planes, and it will create a bunch of different planes in between those two planes, and it will chop a surface up. So it'll intersect, if you will, with a surface. It'll make a section. So what we have here is planes perpendicular to a curve. So I selected that law curve, the drive curve, the original drive curve, and I said I wanted it to start at 20% and only go to 80%, and within those two percentages have 9 copies. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of these copies of the sections, or I shouldn't say copies, they're literally sections of the swept surface. And then, of course, I did a divide face, and that's what gave me the ability to have all these pretty colors on the fish. And of course, I did the eyes with a sketch. That was, I'm sorry, a curve on surface. I made curves on surface to do the eyes. I did a subdivide, a thicken, and some blending, and I was able to change the colors for the nice little friendly eyes. Okay, with Control W, I will now get rid of the points and datum planes and datum axes and the curves and the sketches and the sheet bodies. All right, so now we have that. Now the next thing I think is uber powerful with NX, and that is the fact that you can make a point on a surface at a parameterized location. So since these surfaces were all are the result of sectioning one main surface, you can distribute a bunch of points at known locations. So all of these points, where'd they go? Control Shift K, here. So all of these points are located in each section there. And then on each point, I made a line segment. And the line segments, it's really powerful that you have the ability to make a line segment. I think I'll make one for you just to show you how I do it. So I go to the curve function, I go to line function, and I specify just the point to begin with. Then right here where it says end option, I say normal to face, and I select the face. And then I can create a line as long as I like. So I created a bunch of lines, and I created those lines so I can do a mesh surface, a through curve surface. The through curve surface is the fin. I took that through curve surface and I thickened it like so. And then I put some blends on it, the current feature. And then I Control B. I'll hide the little surface that I started with. So there you go. There is a fish fin. And I did the same thing down below. And, oh, wait a second. Well, let's keep going. Here it is. Make current feature. So there you go. There's 2 fish fins. And then I even located points here and did the same thing with the lines and more datum planes. And I came up with a sketch. And so I was able to make the fins that look like this, that stick out on both sides. Cool. Then make current feature. I finally came out with some isoparametric curves on the fins. And everywhere there was a curve, I put a small tube, united it all together, and I had my fish. Then, of course, it was time to make it swim. And in order to make it swim, I went to Menu, View, Operation, Visualization, Visualization, Create Animation. There you go, create animation. Now the animation tool this animation tool is one of many, and I've done some other videos on this, and it's amazing how you can make a video out of something that you're driving parametrically. So what you have to do is you have to click on parameters, and the very first thing you have to do is say, make sure this is update expressions. Then you've got to click on animation file name and locate the animation file name, or I should say place an animation file name in a known folder that is up to your liking. And then you can do a default, or you can do a user-defined resolution. I recommend higher than the default. And you put some numbers in. In this case, it's 1740 and 2048, horizontal to vertical. And then you select OK. And then you can click on generate animation. I won't do it because it takes a long time. And then you have an animation that appears like the one in the corner there. There's a animation of the swimming. In this case, these bubbles are controlled by point locations that are also hooked to this frame number variable. It's frame number divided by 60 or something like that. So they rise slowly. You can see, if you watch the little video, you'll see them rising. You'll see the fish swimming. You'll see everything updating. And I hope this kind of thing is as satisfying to you as it is to me. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, share it with others, please. There's going to be plenty more of this at the Design Visionaries YouTube channel. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving.